Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm your host, Amanda Lamb. In today's deep dive conversation with WRAL reporter Joe Fisher, we're talking about people in our area who are going carless. That's right, they don't have cars. So they rely largely on public transit like the bus to get to work and other places. The big question, is the public transit system in the Triangle keeping pace with people's desires to ditch their cars? Joe, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So this is obviously a very easy thing to do. What most people do in a big city is to use public transit, not have a car. It's a little harder to do in North Carolina, also here in the Triangle, I would imagine. What are some of the challenges of going carless?
I think the big challenges are frequency and reliability. I'm somebody who travels a lot, so I go to a lot of different cities with public transit systems that are really easy. You get on, maybe you wait 2, 4, 6 minutes for a train to arrive or a subway to arrive. We don't have that here in the Triangle, right? But we're growing at such a rapid pace. About 70 people are moving here every single day. So what does that look like long term in how people get around? And so the big challenges that we found in going after this story about going carless is that we really only have bus service, and it does not come frequently enough. And many people who ride these buses every day say they're often not on time.
Yeah, and that was the question. I mean, really, the bus is it. And you talk to a lot of people in Raleigh who say, it just isn't reliable.
Right now, going carless in the Triangle requires 2 things. Planning, you have to know your route, where to go, how to look it up, how to navigate the system, and it requires patience because a lot of people say that they miss their bus. The buses don't come. We looked into the, on-time performance percentages of Go Raleigh, Go Durham, Go Triangle. And it's anywhere between, say, 82 and 85%. So that leaves a big chunk of routes that are late. So people get into this predicament where they don't know, did their bus come? Did they miss it? Is it going to come? They have to get to work. It's kind of a mess. And in the words of one longtime rider, she just said, oftentimes it's unpredictable.
Yeah, and I know that you tested the system. You had our Investigates producer, Pritchard Strong, use the Go Raleigh bus system one day to try to go to work. I think daycare as well, maybe.
Correct.
Tell me how that went.
It was just a long journey, and the reason being is that Pritchard Strong, our producer here at WRAL, he lives in an area of North Raleigh where he is 2+ miles away from the closest bus stop. So right now, according to Raleigh's mayor, when they were configuring the transit system for Go Raleigh, they really focused on frequency, getting the buses to come as often as possible. And in doing that, they picked routes like Six Forks Road, Wake Forest Road, these highly populated, highly trafficked roads. Whereas if you live far out from those main corridors, you're not really close to a bus that's going to come. So Pritchard was in a situation where he lived out by Bailiwick Road Park in North Raleigh. He was 2+ miles away from the closest bus stop. It ended up being quicker for him to just walk to the daycare, which was a little under 3 miles. So if he every day did not have a car and he needed to take his daughter to the daycare, then get to work in West Raleigh, it was going to be a 2.5-hour journey, something that takes him about 40 to 45 minutes to do, every single day. So we're talking maybe triple the time. Really inconvenient for someone who doesn't live, close to a bus stop.
Yeah, and not really tenable for most people who work for a living and have to be on time.
But the reality for so many people is that they don't have a car. So the trick here,
they don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They need to live close to a transit line. And we kind of found out that the closer you live to downtown and the closer you live to one of those main corridors, the more realistic the bus services.
And also, as we know, though, the rents are going up in
Correct.
those areas. We'll be back after the break with more from WRAL's Joe Fisher about why some people are choosing to go carless. Welcome back to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm talking with WRAL's Joe Fisher about people who are choosing to ditch their cars. Now, I know you did talk to one of our new reporters, Shelley Jackson, for this story. What did she say were her reasons for not owning a car?
So our newest reporter here at WRAL, Shelley Jackson, just moved here. She did not want to have a car because she had experiences with public transit in big cities living abroad. And she just wanted to try it out to see, is this feasible? She said, she doesn't have to worry about parking. She doesn't have to worry about gas. She doesn't have to worry about car payments, insurance. There's a lot of benefits to ditching your car. You can really free up some cost to, have that money for savings or to spend it on, other things. So she moved to town. She said that those were her reasons for doing so. And I think her experience here, she lives downtown. So she says that most times her bus is on time and she has a good experience. However, she has quickly realized that the reliability of the buses has been spotty. Google Maps is a really good resource for Go Raleigh riders, Go Durham, Go Triangle riders to connect you around. And it'll say what time the bus is coming, but it doesn't always come. We actually did a test run. We stood out in the middle of Wake Forest Road, right by Midtown there, and we waited on a bus that Google Maps said would come at a particular time. It did not come. We waited for a half hour for this bus to come. Finally, it came, but we didn't know. Was that the bus that was supposed to come? Was that just the next bus? What if you had to be at work on time? And it just kind of became a headache.
Yeah, I just got back from New York City and we took the subway, we took trains, and we actually took a bus, which was my first time taking a bus in New York City. And it was literally right on time, exact spot it was supposed to be, dropped us off right on time.
And I think it's important to point out that we did talk to a lot of riders who are appreciative that the buses right now are free. And they're appreciative that it does come on time a lot.
Right. So
it's not always late. It's just so unpredictable that it's hard to plan your day around.
You worry about it if you have to be somewhere at a specific time.
Absolutely.
So you did look at the reliability of the different systems. What did you learn about? Tell me the systems that you looked at and what you learned about the differences in between the reliability of the systems.
So we looked at Go Raleigh, Go Durham, Go Triangle, and Go Cary. And what we found is that between the biggest of those systems, Go Raleigh, Go Durham, Go Triangle, the on-time performance rate was anywhere between 83 and 85%. So that leaves, just about 20% of the time where the bus is not on time. And that goes into what we talked about previously. Go Cary is a smaller service. So they have, a 95% on-time performance rate. Right now, Go Triangle, Go Durham, Go Cary are all facing, Go Durham and Go Raleigh, Go Triangle are facing bus driver shortages, which has forced them to reduce the number of routes that they have every day. And because they were running at such a shortage for so long, they were admittedly missing routes.
Right. And so now people who are relying on it are getting less options in terms of, which bus can I take today?
At a time where we really should be, and these, organizations really want to be ramping it up.
Yeah, and so that's the $1 million question. Are people riding the bus? What is the ridership looking like in these areas?
So the reality is that hundreds of thousands of people are riding the buses, every week and every month and really relying on the service to get around. But still, we are at a point where fewer people are riding the bus now than they were before the pandemic. And we've come, 3-4, almost 4 years now out of, since 2019. Ridership is up in the last year about 20%. Give or take a few percentage points, but is still down about 15% from 2019 before the pandemic. So right now, Go Raleigh, Go Durham, Go Triangle, they're all trying to fill all of these vacancies. They're trying to expand routes. And I would say that we're going to get to a place, if I had to, after looking into this, I would say in 2-3 years, they might be back to, where they were before the pandemic. I was talking with Raleigh's mayor, Marianne Baldwin, who said that the pandemic definitely was an obstacle and kind of, shut off progress temporarily in the public transit space.
So what do you think the future is? Do you think more people are going to start going, hey, maybe I will try this?
I think it's going to take having the infrastructure in place, proving that it can get people to a certain place at a certain time, and then people might catch on. And I don't think anyone is blind to the fact that we need public transit. The roads are congested. There's more people moving here. There's traffic nightmares, accidents, construction, etc. Raleigh is really pushing bus rapid transit, which is just a faster form of bus service with dedicated bike lanes. So by 2025, Raleigh will have its first bus rapid transit line on New Bern Avenue. They're going to have 3 more of those bus rapid transit lines over the next 10 to 12 years. And then a bigger project that we're talking about is commuter rail. And that is something that transit advocates are fully behind. Whether it'll happen or not, or whether it'll be on time, is a big question right now. But this would be a 40-mile commuter rail line from Clayton to Durham, which could really, be a huge transformation in the public transit space.
Right. So right now, I guess the carless people may be a little ahead of the curve, but it could be in the near future something that would be really realistic for a lot of people. So.
Hopefully so.
Thank you, Joe, for reporting on this really important and evolving topic in our area. I think it's going to be something we're going to continue to talk about for many years to come. And thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download and making it part of your morning routine. If you like what you're hearing, please rate us on Apple Podcasts or on whatever podcast app you use. Another great way to get WRAL news is the Morning Briefing newsletter. It's a daily email waiting in your inbox every morning with Triangle news, events, and headlines to get you ready for the day. Sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter.